Yes, good, good, right. So we are now talking about runoff, correct? So runoff is very important for you to consider, right? So we have completed different processes which are associated with runoff, right? So we completed this one, correct? Yes or no? Base flow?
Yes, sir.
Yes, good. Right. So we completed this one, then we started talking about this. We completed this. Yes or no? Abhishan? Yes? We finished this one? Abhishan, are you available? No, not available.
No, sir. He is absent.
Where is he? Gone? Shamina?
Sir, today his network is unstable due to bad.
Okay. Only today we got 100 people, correct?
Yes.
Where are they? Are they having some problems? Oh, what do you want to say, Shamina?
Sir, some go to take the vaccine.
Okay, we'll see. But okay, that is their wish. Okay, we'll see. Right. Okay. So this is of course runoff, right? Factors. So here, so we completed this one. Yes or no?
Yes, sir, we completed.
Yeah, completed. Yes, please talk to me, right? Okay, this is for you. So yes, so that is up to you, Shamina. The thing is that so that is my responsibility, right? So when I am starting my class, I should check the people, right, attending that one. That is basically for my record. This is good for them, so I have to guide them properly. That is my expectation. Therefore, I'm asking you every time the attendance. Correct? You understood?
Yes, sir.
So if they are cutting, that is their wish. University students know they have got their own maturity, so they can realize the reality. But that is not good for them. Okay. So please convey this message. Try to, network issue today, no?
Yes.
Raining? It is raining everywhere?
Yes.
No?
Yes, sir.
Yes, maybe. Yes, that is acceptable. Okay, we'll see. Please ask them to study this one, right? So I will try my best to have another plan to, make all these documents available. Okay, later. Understood?
Okay, sir. Understood.
Okay, good, right. So we have completed this one, correct? So did we study this one?
No, sir.
No, sir.
So we finished this one, correct?
Yes, sir.
Good, good, right. You just talk to me, right? Now we are going to talk about geographical factors, right? So we will talk about watershed, we will talk about orientation of the watershed, land use, soil moisture. So there are two words, right? So yes, I will delete one. Right? Then of course topographic characteristics. These are of course influencing the runoff process. The thing is that I have already discussed many things, right? The important factor is that, what is that? The soil moisture availability, right? So how can we relate this one to the runoff process? Manashi, how will you relate?
So when the soil moisture is high,
can you answer this question? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good.
So when the soil moisture is high,
yes,
the soil surface can absorb more water.
Yes.
So the the water that will be available for surface runoff will be less if the soil moisture is high.
If the soil moisture is high, Manashi?
Yes, sir.
So repeat, please repeat.
When the soil moisture So when the soil moisture is high, there's an availability for more saturated water. So if the soil is saturated, there will be a runoff available.
Yes, good. Right. Yes, correct. So yes, thanks. So this is the major point, right? When we talk about soil moisture, okay, that is playing a key role. So we have already discussed, right? So this is of course availability we have already discussed, but you have to discuss this one very correctly, right? So here, if you have more pore spaces, right? Of course, there is a possibility for you to fill them, right? If the soil moisture is low, this water will be utilized to fill these gaps, as she said, right? If the soil moisture is high, it means almost all pore spaces are filled, right? Then, of course, this water is available for this flow, okay? So if I ask you to explain that one, you have to make a diagram, you have to make a schematic, then of course you just explain. So that is very simple. So that is my expectation. Another important factor is there, slope, right? So that is also very important. Say example, we will consider one slope like this, another one like this. So this is very steep. So we can have this theta value, right? Then of course, if you consider this slope is very steep, then if you increase the slope, this force is very high, am I right, compared to this one, correct or wrong? Okay, this force you can simply say. So now you can say this particular, so this is of course dynamics, right? This particular F is greater than this F, yes or no? So this is very simple for you to understand. So if this one is high, the force which is acting on the mass of water which is moving along this surface, okay, is high compared to the mass of the water which is moving along this surface. You understood? Therefore, there is a possibility for you to have reduced infiltration in this case compared to this one. Understood or not? This is basically due to different forces acting on different slopes. You agree? So you have to explain that one. Okay, that is also important. Then of course, size of the watershed. Yes, we will see. You all know watersheds, am I? There are places used to keep water, stagnated water, right? So we will keep water, right? Now this is our catchment, right? So this is our catchment. What do you mean by catchment? It is a land area, right, which is used to send the water to a particular water source, right? So if your catchment area is big, right, then of course you will have more water flowing into a direction, right? So the thing is that, so we are having this watershed, right? Now it is moving into this one. If the size is small, right, if it is filled very quickly, there is a backflow. You understood? If you are having this backflow, this area will be flooded. You agree? At that time, you will be having no surface flow. It is, of course, how do we call it? Flooded scenario. You agree? Yes or no? Midushana, you understood?
Yes, sir.
Midushana, can you please explain the influence of slope on the runoff process? Can you?
If the slope is very high,
Yes.
there is the runoff is related into high.
Sorry, can you repeat?
If the slope is relatively high, there will
Yes.
be a highest amount of runoff.
Why is that? Good, you are correct. Can you explain the reason for that one? Midushana, difficult? Okay, fine, good. Okay, don't worry. Yes, Satkunalingam, are you available?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Yes, can you please explain the reason for this? Can you?
Because yes, sir.
Difficult. Oh, yeah, difficult. Okay. Okay. Yeah, don't worry. Lakmali, are you available?
Yes, sir.
Can you please explain the reason for that? No?
The slope is high.
Yes.
The mass of the water mount is high, more than the second slope.
Oh, yes. So, yes, that is the point. So, you have to elaborate that one bit more, right? So are you able to understand my technical explanations, or is it difficult for you to understand? Am I fast? Students, please comment. Is it okay for you to understand?
Yes, sir.
Or difficult to understand? Will you write all these points if this question comes to your examination? Manashi, am I fast?
No, sir.
No, good. Imandi?
No, sir.
Okay. Shamina,
No, sir.
can you all understand?
Understand, sir.
Yeah, good. So this is the technical point, right? You have to consider this theta, then you have to talk about this force, you have to talk about the mass, right? So you have already studied. If that mass is touching the surface, there is a force acting here. So this is due to friction, right? So this mass is moving downward because this force is greater than this one. Yes or no? Understood or not? So you have to take two different slopes, then you have to explain this one. That is important. Again, this one, catchment, watershed. Yes, can you please explain this one? Anyone? No, can't, difficult? Yes, I will ask one person. 121 Sadangika. Sadanika. Yes. Yes, 121. Are you available? Absent?
Present, sir.
She's not talking, no? No, right? Okay, we'll see. Purni? Zero.
Yes, sir.
Can you please explain this one? Watershed? Purni, difficult?
Yes, sir.
We'll see, right? Jolin 005. Can you please explain?
Difficult, sir.
Okay, difficult. Okay, good. But you have to try, right? So that is very important for you. Okay, we'll see next time. Prabodha 007. Can you?
Difficult, sir.
Okay. Mayuri 011.
Difficult, sir.
Okay. So, I mean, are you understanding? It is due to your language barrier. So, what do you say? Or you are not understanding?
Sir, can you please explain that again, sir?
Yeah, sure. Yes. This is yes, I expect this one, right? If you are unable to understand, you have to talk, right? So that is my expectation. Then only I will be satisfied. I will be happy if my message is reaching you properly. Otherwise, I will be sad. Okay. So this is the watershed, right? Catchment, how do we define? Catchment is the land area which is contributing to a water source, right? When you are having enough rainfall here, the water will be moving into this reservoir, right? Usually, I can say the size of this particular watershed is very different for different locations, right? So here, when you have this water movement into this watershed, right, there is a possibility for you to have its maximum capacity. If it is achieved very quickly, there is a backflow. If there is no more flow beyond this point, okay, then of course, if you get this backflow into this catchment, okay, there is a possibility for you to have flooded scenario, right? If you get flooded scenario, there is no surface flow. You understood or not? Correct? Shamina, understood?
Yes, sir.
Or difficult?
Understood, sir.
Understood, sir.
Okay, good. Anyone wants to clarify anything? Yes, Manashi, can you explain?
Yes, sir.
Difficult?
No, sir.
Okay.
Unmuted.
Yeah, good.
So catchment is a land area which is contribute to collect water.
Yeah.
So from there, the water will move to a watershed.
Yes.
So if the watershed is small,
Yeah.
there is a possibility for a backflow.
Yes.
So that means there will be no runoff other than flooding.
Yes.
So the size of the watershed is very important for runoff.
Yeah, excellent. You understood? So this is the typical scenario. So you have to understand this one, right? So, and it is of course important for you to identify certain points that are related to this, right? Okay, with that note, yes, with that note, I will go to the next one, right? So we will just talk about this one. So we are studying about factors that are influencing, I mean, this runoff process. So we have already discussed about these points, right? So I have just given them for your reference. You just make a note on this, okay? If you consider the types of rainfall, it's of course problematic. We have already studied different forms, right? I mean, hail, dew, okay, mist. There are different forms. Runoff is possible when you have liquid form of the precipitation. Otherwise, you know that nothing is possible. If you have hailstorm is of course solid. It is not possible for you to have the immediate runoff. It takes time to have melted water. So it's of course very, very important, right? So it is also influencing the amount of runoff, okay? The precipitation in the form of rainfall starts immediately as surface runoff depending upon the rainfall intensity, while precipitation in the form of snow does not result in surface runoff. I have just explained, right? Please make a note on this. Shamina finished? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Right. Manasi?
Yes, sir.
Acknowledging? Yes?
Yes, sir. Finish.
Yeah, good. So when you talk about this watershed, so you have to be very careful, right? So I will explain this one later when you are coming to 2-1, right? It is basically, yes, we will discuss that one later. So this catchment, then of course we will have the watershed. Watershed can have certain points of water stagnation. It is basically having certain amount of land area. So please read about that. Yes, more just to enrich your knowledge. I mean, you can read, right? Read a lot, right? So we will see this rainfall intensity. We have already discussed this one, right? So this is of course rainfall intensity. Again, this is also rainfall intensity. Low intensity, high intensity. If you get high intensity, then of course there is a possibility for you to have high runoff. If it is low, then your runoff is low, right? If the rainfall intensity is greater than the infiltration rate of the soil, then the runoff starts immediately after rainfall. So we have already discussed this one, right? If you are having intensity means, how do we define that one? Mayuri, how can we define rainfall intensity?
Yes, sir.
Can you answer? Mayuri, are you available?
Yes, sir.
Difficult to answer? What is the rainfall intensity?
Difficult, sir.
Okay, good. But yes, my kind request is that you all please study this one, because you know I just want to keep you all full of energy, right? I mean, keep you all with full of energy. That is good for you, right? Please study. Okay. Maheshika, can you answer?
No, sir, difficult.
Okay. You are not in a position to study AN willingly? No. Makeshika, you don't like engineering?
Like, sir, but explain is difficult.
Okay. In future, okay, when you are coming to second year, you know, I will do the same, right? At that time, you should express the difference. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Good, right. Yes, age is 030.
Yes, sir.
Can you please define the intensity?
Difficult, sir. Sorry, sir.
Okay. Okay, we'll see. Okay. In future, please try. Okay. Akila 035. Can you?
Yes, sir.
Can you please define the rainfall intensity?
Amount of rainfall per unit time is called as rainfall.
Yeah, good. So did I teach this one before? Manasi, yes or no?
So we discussed briefly about that.
Yeah, we have already discussed this one, correct?
Yes, sir, in the previous slide.
Yeah. Okay, good. Therefore, I'm asking this question, right? Okay, fine. So this is of course rainfall intensity. If it is high, of course you will have immediate runoff. If it is low, your runoff is low, right? While in case of low rainfall intensity, runoff starts later. Okay, it is of course very late, because you know it will satisfy the infiltration first. Once that one is completed, then of course you will have the runoff. Thus high intensities, okay, of rainfall yield higher runoff. So that is of course very obvious, right? Please make a note on this. you like questions to be asked or you don't like questions to be asked? What is your answer? So you are not willing, then I will stop asking questions.
We like to answer your questions.
Okay. Few more students, what is your opinion? You are not willing to have questions?
We like to have questions.
We like, sir.
Yeah, good, good.
We like,
I'm
sir.
doing it for you, right? Not for me. So I will not do anything if you are not answering. So I'm giving you this opportunity to improve your knowledge, right? Your ability. So that is my expectation. Okay, if you are preferring, then I can ask. If you are not willing, of course, I will stop, right? So can I continue with this? Students?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, thanks. Finished, Shamina? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right, we'll see this. Then, of course, we will talk about duration of rainfall. So we have already discussed. So I will just refresh this one, right? It is directly related to the volume of runoff. I have told you, if you have more, yes, more volume, it means your duration is high, right? Because infiltration rate of soil decreases with the duration of rainfall. You understood? Very important, because infiltration rate of soil decreases with duration of rainfall. Say example, if you have long duration, of course your soil will be saturated. Then of course, once you complete your saturation process, it starts moving over the soil surface, right? So it is of course very important for us to understand this concept, right? Therefore, medium intensity rainfall even results considerable amount of runoff if duration is longer. So it's a very important point. This is important for your quiz examination, right? You can have medium intensity, but there is a possibility for you to have runoff, okay, if the duration is long, right? So that is very important. Please make a note on this. How many of you are planning to go for second degree after the completion of your first degree? No one? Students,
Yes, sir.
are you interested? I mean, how many of you are willing to go for second degree after this one? Or you are not willing to study further?
I'm
Many of
willing
you?
to study, sir.
Yeah, good. Because, you know, I'm starting this discussion very early because, you know, this is a time for me to put good seeds, to have good plants, right? So I did this one for other batches lately, but, you know, then I thought of discussing this one very early. I mean, when you are starting the journey, you know, I should tell you opportunities available so that you can develop nice scenarios, right? So my personal suggestion is that you all plan for second degree, right? So that is very important. This world is highly competitive, right? Your survival is very difficult, right? If yes, if you are unable to fit for different situations. Yes, that is a good point, right? Okay. Some yes, some are talking about different scenarios, so we will discuss, right? So yes, 030, can you please explain me your concept?
So I want to know if the subsurface runoff rate increase more, greater than infiltration rate. What happens?
Yeah, it will lead to the process called seepage. Then of course, if you get that scenario, you know, all that amount will be taken into a river or some other water bodies. Then of course, just above the soil surface, you will be having not enough water to have the surface flow. You understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, good. That's a good question. But yes, I appreciate that one. Right? So that is the normal scenario. Yes. So I can set different scenarios. You have to be in a position to discuss, right? Don't expect direct questions. You know, I mean, engineering is the core for all subjects, right? Because we are dealing with technical concepts. So you will realize this one when you are moving into other semesters, right? We are doing 4 units, okay? So these units are very technical, okay? Then of course you can apply all these concepts to other subjects. But the thing is that, you know, we are not expecting paragraphs to be written, okay? We are expecting only technical points and diagrams. So it is very easy for you to answer our questions, right? Because we want to check your technical knowledge. We are not bothering about your just language. You know, English is not our mother tongue, right? So there are mistakes, but we have to improve. Then only we can go for higher studies. So we will give you an opportunity to express your knowledge, okay? If you know certain things, if you are unable to write them, you make a diagram, then label it, right? Then we can simply understand whether you have understood that one or not, okay? This is a good opportunity for students to express their views, okay? We will polish this system in future as well. These days we are having different groups here at the department. Then we will expand these things further just to facilitate students, because we are willing to have all students happy, right? We are not willing to make you all very stressful. Therefore, please concentrate more on technical concepts related to different subjects of my department, right? Then of course you will be very happy. Then you will be having good grades. Of course, it is easy, okay? You students agree? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, good. Right. Nice. So we will just talk about this one, right? So we have finished this one, right? Okay, this one. Direction of prevailing wind. So we have already discussed this. This is also a bit problematic because, you know, when you get a strong wind, you know, water droplets will be taken into different directions. It can influence the ultimate delivery of water droplets, okay, at the soil surface. It is bit problematic, right? The storm moving in the direction of stream slope produce a higher peak in shorter period of time than a storm moving in opposite direction. So it's very nice point. So you have to be in a position to recall this one. So if you are having the wind to a direction in which storm is directed, then of course you will be having higher runoff. If it is opposite to that direction, then of course there is a possibility for you to have diluted runoff. You agree? You understood, Shamina? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Satpuralingam, you understood?
Sir, can you explain again, sir?
Yeah, good. So yes, I really like this, right? So this is the movement, right? This is the movement direction. Now you are having the wind direction, okay? This is wind direction. Again, this is the water flow, right? I can say Q. So now this is the, I mean, this is the flow direction, surface flow. Now the wind is directed to this direction. Both are same, right? Now these two directions are same, okay? So if you have this scenario, wind is giving you additional energy just to push this water, right, over the soil surface. So this flow will be very high when you have strong wind influence, right? But if you think this one other way around, now you have this Q, now wind is making it very different. Now wind direction is opposite to this, then it will slow down, it will make it very slow, right? Then of course you will have very low surface flow. You understood or not? Yes,
Yes,
or no?
sir. Okay. Understood, sir.
Yes, good. Everyone is okay with this?
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Right, good. So we will just talk about some other climatic factors. So here what I want to say is that when you get all these questions for your examination, what you can do is that you just make a diagram if you are unable to write a paragraph. Okay, we are not expecting paragraphs to be written. We are willing to check your technical knowledge, right? Then you make a diagram, then label it. Okay, this is the direction. So if it is moving to this direction, the flow is high. If it is opposite to this, the flow is low. Then we can simply understand. Okay, then we can simply come to the point of conclusion that the particular student has understood this one properly. Then we will give you full mark. Okay, we are not expecting paragraphs, so we have to have solid answers. Okay, nice. So here I have put certain other points, right? Other factors such as temperature, wind velocity, relative humidity, annual rainfall, etc. They also affect the water losses from watershed area. Watershed I have already told you. Okay, it is a drainage basin. It may have certain points to collect water. Okay, that is possible. Please make a note on this. Yes, finish, Shamina.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Yes, Shakmalingam finished.
Last line, sir.
Okay, okay. Are you all studying agricultural engineering interestingly? Yes or no? Or you are not willing to study this one?
Yes, sir.
Happy? Are you all happy?
Yes.
Is this subject making you all stressful?
No, sir.
No. You are happy? You are happy?
Yes, sir.
Yes. If it is making you stressful, you just talk to me, right?
Okay, sir.
Okay, good. Yes, finished? Imandi, finished?
Yes, sir.
Good. Lakmali?
Yes, sir.
Right. So we will talk about this one, right? So we have already studied this one. Please make a note on this, right? A large watershed takes longer time for draining the runoff to outlet than smaller watershed and vice versa. So we have already discussed, right? Slope of the watershed, this is also very important. It's a watershed, right? So draining, you see, it controls the time of concentration of rainfall. Slopey watershed results in greater runoff velocity and vice versa. We have already discussed all these. Please make a note on this. Just finished, students? Yes.
Finish.
Yes, sir. Okay, good. So we will see this one, right? Then orientation of watershed. This affects the evaporation and transpiration losses from the area. So if the watershed is directed to the sun, the movement of the sun, of course, there is a possibility for that particular draining area to have more radiation. Okay, then of course it can influence the evaporation as well as transpiration losses. So it is important. Again, land use. Land use and the land management practices have greater effect on the runoff yield, because I have told you this one before. If you have vegetative cover, right? If you have grass grown on the surface of the soil, of course, it can minimize the runoff. If you are having reduced runoff, of course, you can reduce the soil erosion. Soil erosion, I have already discussed. Manashi, what do you mean by soil erosion? Did I teach you this one before?
Yes, sir.
So what is that?
Because of wind and human behaviors, the soil particles will be moved from one point to another point.
Yes, very good. So that is of course soil erosion. Soil erosion is the process of detachment and transportation of soil particles from one point to another point by different factors. Yes. So we have to add these 2 points, okay? Detachment and transportation. So here runoff water is doing that activity. So it is very, very important for us to consider that, right? An area with forest cover or thick layer of mulch or leaves and grasses contribute, okay, you see, contributes less runoff because water is absorbed more into soil. So this is of course very, very important, because we are creating artificial barriers on the soil surface just to avoid the flow of the water over the soil surface. If you are making some barriers, if there is a possibility for you to infiltrate that water into the soil profile, then of course it will happen. So we will discuss all these points deeply when you are coming to the second year. So there is a possibility, right? So that is of course aquifer system. So we will discuss that one later. Please make a note on this. Yes, finished students? Yes? Yes or no? Shamina?
Yes, sir.
Right, okay. So we will see this. So this is of course thick forest cover, right? You see this. Then of course this is of course mulch, right? People are putting this one on the soil surface. This can reduce the runoff. Okay, right. With that note, I will talk about this one. Soil moisture. So this is also very important. We have already discussed this one. Magnitude of runoff yield depends upon the initial moisture present in the soil at the time of rainfall. If the rain occurs after long dry spell, then infiltration rate is more. Hence, it contributes less runoff. You understood? So if the soil is dry, of course, we have already discussed, it can allow the water to move into the soil, right? Of course, it can reduce the runoff. Soil type, this is also very important. I have already discussed. If you are having certain soil types with very high porosity, then of course they can accommodate more water. It can minimize the runoff. So you have to be in a position to differentiate different patterns based on your requirements. If a question is dealing with a particular scenario, you have to answer that question properly. So for that, your technical understanding is important. You agree? Yes, Imandi?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Please make a note on this. You finished? Satgunalingam, yes, finished?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes. So we will see this. Okay, so we will just have a look at it. Topographic characters. So this is also very important. It includes those topographic features which affect the runoff, right? So that is important. Undulating lands has greater runoff than flat land. Undulation means it is not uniform, right? It is not unique. It is not homogeneous, we can say. So it is moving here and there. There are slopes, there are ups, there are downs, right? So water is moving here and there because of this topographic feature. Please make a note on this. So it's very simple, right? Manasi, finished?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Lakmali?
Yes, sir.
Good. Mayuri?
Yes, sir.
Right, good. So we will see this. Okay, measurement of runoff. Did you study this one before? Yes or no? You are practical?
Yes, sir.
So you completed, right? So here we will discuss certain technical points. Yes, I will discuss all these. Yes, next time. You have got one pending class. Yes, that is enough for the day. You have got one pending class. You know, am I right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
So when
sir.
is that, Shamina?